Welcome everybody, hope you're doing well. Today we're going to be taking a look at an older release model from 2018, but still one of my prized possessions, this Norfolk Southern SD40-2, decorated in the Maersk Sealand scheme from Athearn ready to roll. As you can see on the side of the box here, this model is equipped with Econami DCC and Sound. And before we go ahead and unbox this thing and start the review, do me a favor and subscribe if you're new or if you find yourself coming back. Completely free, and honestly just helps me make a couple dollars one day from the ads that YouTube puts on the video anyways. But as always, like the video if you enjoy, and let's go ahead and get right into the review. So I'm going to go ahead and start off here by showing you the box. Of course, in the RTR models, you do have the clear plastic up front. Do have the box here. This was a used model, so there are some imperfections that I'll point out. But again, still a favorite in my collection. So just slide it here. The top comes off just like that. You can slide the model out. We of course have the normal plastic clamshell and foam there, but we don't have any foam in the box. We have the diesel quick start guide here. I'll just show you a quick look at the functions. We'll take a look at them in a minute. Again, this is the Econami Sound. We got a list of horns and stuff in the back here. And if you haven't heard of Econami, it's from SoundTraxx, just like Tsunami, just with sort of limited features. We have a parts diagram here and warranty information on the back of that. And of course, sign up for Athearn News. I got you covered on the weekly updates though. And then as with most other locomotives, we'll go ahead and slide the clamshell off, just like so. We do have some soft plastic on top and then some foam around the handrails. So just one on each side there, and then we have the model. Let me go ahead and give you a quick spin here. You'll notice there are one or two missing detail bits, but I'll talk about them in a second. But this paint scheme is amazing, and they've only made it once. This is from the 2018 release of RTR SD40-2s. I did purchase this off of Facebook for approximately $220 after shipping. It did release for approximately $180 is what you'd buy it at. With the DCC equipped versions. So I did pay over MSRP a few years later, but considering the rarity of this model, I'm pretty happy with it so far. And the paint scheme really won me over. And real quick on the paint scheme history, this is the only Norfolk Southern unit painted in this scheme, and there were 2 Santa Fe units painted in a similar Maersk Sealand scheme. But enough with talking, let's go ahead and show you some of the details on this locomotive. Alright, starting from the front of the locomotive here, we'll start top down. We do have the horn and number boards. The number boards are not lighted. A little hard to see right now, but the headlight is high mounted between the number boards. The windows look pretty good, and they do have separately applied windshield wipers on them. All of the handrails on this model are plastic, but these seem to be in pretty good shape, even for my used model. If I show you the very front here, we see a couple grab irons here on the nose. And the low-mounted ditch lights here, which are just in a little bit of a shadow here, they do flash correctly when the horn is played. We do not have an uncoupling lever, but we do have MU hoses and a snowplow, which looks pretty nice in that blue. The coupler here is plastic on front. So there's a look there. We don't have any drop step or anything, and the walkway here is not pleated. It is completely flat, which is consistent around the rest of the model. And additionally, we have a train line hose next to the coupler as well. The steps are not see-through. They're see-through this way, but not perforated from the top down. We do have movable cab windows here, so I can slide it fully open or close there. A little bit easier to do with the screwdriver like I have. And I'll show you real quick. There is no cab interior. You can just see the lights in there, or the wires for the lights for the headlight and the ditch lights inside. It is not lighted in there at all. We'll move to the full side view here. You can see this gorgeous paint scheme. The only reason I really bought this model was for this paint scheme because it's just incredible, and it's a shame they only made it on an RTR version. If this was a Genesis model, we'd see a lot more features, but maybe that'll be coming soon from either Athearn or from a different manufacturer. We do have safety striping here in white all across the model, and since this was an ex-Conrail unit, we do have sort of a Norfolk Southern patch here, and I'll zoom in across the entire model in just a second. Additionally, we do have some danger marking detail up on the dynamic brake area, as well as in the rear by the radiator over on this side. But other than that, nothing much special going along across the side of the model. We do have a red outline on the fuel sight gauge there. I'll give you a zoom in here. You can see there is a speed recorder on that second axle. There's that sort of patch detail. There's all that moving down to the rear of the model. And you can see the underside mounted bell here as well. And now moving to the rear of the model. Once again, the number boards here are not lit, but we do have the rear high mounted headlight here. We have grab irons running up the side, and this is where you can really see that the walkway is completely flat there as well. And this is a perk of buying a used unit. Even though it was sold as new, we are missing MU hoses on this right side, but you can see them correctly still installed on the left side. And you'll notice we do still have an uncoupling lever on the rear, even though we didn't have one on the front side of the model. Once again, plastic coupler on the rear there as well. Give you a quick zoom in on this rear section. You can see there definitely used to be MU hoses on my model, but they're gone. Now we'll slide on over to the other side of the model. We do have some steps hidden behind this NS here, but they're a little broken on my model. We do have, again, sight glasses for the fuel there, as well as the safety markings once again. I'll give you a quick view. The trucks are pretty bare bones, but they get the job done. There's nothing glaring to me, just as a quick pass, that anything's missing from them. You can see the cab windows are a little hard to stay in the same spot. They do get a little slanted and slide around a little bit. They're not very secure. Here's a quick look at that other quarter panel of the locomotive here. We do have the box here in front of the window. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at the roof of the model here. You can see the horn and the Sinclair antenna there. Moving back to the dynamic brake area. And then the radiator. You can see down in through the fans, the speaker is actually housed in this rear section here. And in this middle section, this area here is very easy to pop off. You can see inside there. So be careful not to grab it by this section here. There's a look at the top of the front there as well. And we'll go ahead and take a look at the underside of the model. There's no sunshades or anything in this model, so it's pretty easy or less scary to put on its side. And again, nothing crazy going on with the trucks here. I'll give you a quick detail. They're good enough for an RTR model. I'll just say that much. No underbody piping or anything going on there. You can see the steps aren't see-through. Nothing too fancy going on. It's really the paint scheme that gets the job done here. But since this model is factory equipped with Econami Sound, we'll go ahead and get it over to the test track and I'll show you the DCC and sound features. Alright, welcome on over to the test track here. Before we start, I'll just give you a quick reminder of the DCC and sound functions here. This is included on this Econami Diesel Quick Start Guide. And it does note that it is different from aftermarket SoundTraxx Econami decoders. Alright, so this locomotive does start up when track power is applied, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it on right now. I'll go ahead and turn our front headlight with F0. And then F5 does the ditch lights on this model. F1 is the bell. F2 is the horn. And that functions as long as you hold down the function 2 key. Now I did change the short horn on this model to be the grade crossing sequence. That is accomplished per the instructions by changing CV37 to 0. So let's hear what that sounds like. The normal short horn will be similar to the third horn you'll hear in this sequence. And you can see the ditch lights flashing when the horn is pressed, both in that grade crossing sequence and in function 2 for just the normal horn. Function 4 are the dynamic brakes. Which, unlike sort of your Tsunami or lock sound decoders, you can turn on while we're idle here. F5, again, is the ditch lights on this model. F6 is lighting effect 2, which is not used on this model. F7 is the headlight dimmer, so it'll dim your top headlight, doesn't do anything to the ditch lights on this model. F8 mutes it. We can bring that back here. F9 and 10 are not used. F11 is the brake set and release, which doesn't do anything by default while we're stopped here. It does release there. F12 is not used. F13 is the couple and uncouple. F14 runs the model at half speed and overrides the momentum. Nothing else is used until F23, which is the all aboard here. Pretty neat. Doesn't really fit with a modern freight diesel, but still pretty cool. 24 and 25 are not used. 26 notches the engine up. And function 27 notches down. And as you just heard there, you can use function 27 to completely notch down to 0 RPM. And I'll just show you briefly, there are no capacitors included on this model. So I'll go ahead and notch this up real quick so we get some more sound. And I'll just pick it off the track here. And it immediately goes dead. But let's go ahead and get this guy running and show you just how it runs here. Moving up to speed step 1. It immediately starts moving, and then the sound sort of catches up. It's really, really smooth here in just speed step 1. No jerkiness at all. Moving up to 5, and we're already moving pretty quick for a speed step 5. Still a notch 1 though. Moving up to about speed step 10, and we're off already. If we ramp up, we can get the sound and then just stop it right in place there. No momentum once again, so it does stop immediately. And bringing it back, you will see we only have the rear headlight and no rear ditch lights. Bring it up to 5 in reverse. It's a very smooth runner, you just gotta watch your speed steps. Then if I stop it, pretty much stops dead in the tracks. And then the sound catches up. So that's really all for the DCC and Sound demo on this locomotive. Again, Econami Sound, so it's not fully loaded with all the features, but it's got pretty much all the ones you really need for sort of a budget DCC and Sound locomotive. Alright, just bringing us back here for some final thoughts on this locomotive. First, again, the only reason I bought this locomotive was for the paint scheme. I'm not typically into buying the Athearn RTR models, as we saw, there could be a little bit better details. Things like lighted number boards would be really nice, as well as just some kind of cab interior or the wires just out of the way, and factory sound being Tsunami instead of Econami. But that's things I can live with for the paint scheme on this locomotive because it is so specialized. And then talking about price, do I think I overpaid at $220 after shipping? Yeah, I think so. But again, special locomotive, I think I really wanted it, and I'd been searching for it for years. One showed up on eBay and I missed it, so this one popped up and I just took it because I knew it'd be a long time until I found one. And I was a little bit bummed that although it was said to be in new condition, the MU hoses were missing, the windows are a little not perfect, and the steps on the engineer's side are a little bit misaligned. But that's things I can fix, and I can buy new MU hoses and get it back into original shape. But as for running wise, it runs pretty well. Again, as you saw, it's just a little bit quick, so watch your speed steps. All of the wheels were engaged. I gave it a quick measure with my wheel gauge. So that's all good. And then the coupler heights are pretty good. Again, they are just plastic, like pretty much all of Athearn's locomotives, but haven't had any issues with them so far. But I think that'll pretty much wrap us up for the review today. Thanks for watching. Again, I know it's not a new locomotive, but it's a special one that I really wanted to share, and I think it's really cool. Not a whole lot of videos that I could see on this locomotive when I was doing my research on it. So if you're thinking about buying this one, it's definitely worth it. If you can sacrifice a little bit of the details and you're just looking at it from afar, it's perfectly okay. But as always, if you're new and you made it this far, do me a favor and subscribe so I can make a couple dollars one day. Like the video if you enjoyed. And with that, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your week.